Hey guys, Joe here, the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. I'm joined this afternoon by Vito. You can find him on Twitter at VitoPicks. Vito, how's your morning or afternoon going for you over there?
That's an afternoon here. It's 10 p.m. And yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I had a great day and excited to talk some hockey, I guess.
Absolutely. I was doing the time change in my head I was thinking Australia. I know you're not in Australia. I know you're over in Europe. Whereabouts are you, Vito?
What do you say?
Whereabouts in Europe are you then, Vito?
I'm in Latvia, Riga. It's like in the Baltics. I mean, next to Lithuania, Estonia. And yeah, we're all here.
Beautiful area for sure. Now, I know you are a former hockey player. You're now in the sports betting industry. Can you tell us everything that you have going on?
Yeah, well, I used to play hockey for 20 years. I started when I was 4 years old. I finished when I was like 21, 22, so almost 20. I used to play in one line with Teddy Bluger. He plays now for Pittsburgh Penguins. I used to play a lot in Sweden in like Division One, Division Two professionally. I also spent 1 year in the United States in juniors. Yeah, that's
Okay.
about my career.
I love it. Now, how did you get into the sports betting industry?
I mean, it's been around. If you play hockey, I mean, there's your mates who are betting early, when I was 16, 15, I saw like people betting, there's always ways how you can bet here in Europe, we have it everywhere. So you started early, some parlays, and then you just grow up and you start listening, something and follow some, more cappers, and then you find a way how you can actually make some money.
Absolutely. I love it. I know the market is so much more advanced over in Europe in the betting industry, just being around a lot longer over there. Now, looking at the NHL tonight, we've got two fantastic games. You got any thoughts on the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers game tonight?
Yeah, of course, I have always a lot of thoughts. I mean, I usually go a little bit by stats, here. I mean, overall, if you just watch how these teams did in regular season, we know that Rangers, when it comes to the Corsi levels, I mean, they're terrible. They're allowing a lot of shots. They're allowing a lot of high danger scoring chances, and I guess I'm not the first one saying that. It all comes down to, I mean, Igor Shosturkin in the net. He's been brilliant, and he was brilliant also the last game there. But again, then if we watch a little bit from Carolina's side, I mean, yeah, the home advantage is the thing in this series because you're able to match those lines. It's I would say this is a game for the coaches and their mindset because if bring them more at home, for example, he's able to put that Stahl, Niederreiter, and Fast line up against who they want. If he can see Rangers putting up Panarin line or Zibanejad line, and he can match it with Stahl, Niederreiter straight away and shut it down. So that line does not play that's not so easy on the road, because on the road, Carolina should put up the line up first. And overall, yeah, Rangers did a great job at home. I mean, they still got outplayed. I mean, Carolina just couldn't find the scoring. I mean, also, they're not being so successful on the power play on the road. But overall, just if we're looking, Carolina is a better team. I mean, I have heard something about also Freddie Anderson maybe coming back. Not sure about that. But Ranta is not playing bad as well. And Slaving has become a very great shutdown D man. And the best player I would love from Carolina team would be Sebastian Aho. I think we don't see these superstars. Well, he's like Crosby, I like these superstars which work offensively and defensively. He's not skating over the pucks, and he's great all-around player. I mean, so yeah, as much as I know that Carolina has not won any game on the road here, I think sometimes this should change. I mean, if we're getting this at the pick'em, and I think Carolina even now slightly going as an underdog here. I think Carolina Hurricanes actually is the play in this situation because I can see them stealing this game. I mean, they are a better team. They are 5-5. They are better. They have better structure. I mean, if we watch the first two games at home, they were just able to shut down the Rangers team. Rangers team couldn't get really in the offensive zone. And the Rangers have to also change a little bit their game. They just can like slow it down, maybe a little bit pass back to the D man, go D to D, and like get Carolina players a little bit moving. But overall, if Carolina does a great job today, they played the last game. They outplayed on all metrics the Rangers, and it was all just the greatness of Shishtorkin. So I'm not want to bet on the lucky team. I know that people like some people don't hate me on the Twitter. They don't like that I'm against the Rangers, but I'm just going by the numbers. I mean, it's pure numbers, and I can see that. So, well, goalie can still play off series. We all have seen what Curry Price can do and things like that, But yeah, I just think this is Carolina's year. I also can see this Carolina winning this in six, and I think this is the perfect spot for them to steal one on the road here tonight.
Yeah, and I think people kind of look at Ranta in here and say, well, it's not Frederick Anderson. But we look at Ranta, I think he's one of the best backup goalies in the whole league. I definitely trust in him to have a phenomenal game for his team. I could see this being a tight one, though. I'm leaning towards the under 5.5. Do you have any thoughts on the total here?
Well, I think it's hard here. I can see this being a low-scoring game as always. I mean, these teams, we have seen how these teams play. All games stay under. We have seen some short shifts, short part of the games when it goes like a little bit chaos back and forth. I remember last game it was like 4-on-1 on one side and then 3-on-2, 3-on-1 back on the other side, and that's not what both coaches wants to see. Both coaches don't like these playing styles, so I think they're still gonna continue to play the same style. I think this game actually goes up again under.
Okay, now another game that we have on the board tonight is the Calgary Flames taking on the Edmonton Oilers. I don't know if you know that I am a complete Calgary Flames fan here, but what we saw out of them in the last game was a complete mess. They weren't able to get anything done, weren't able to slow down Connor McDavid and a Draisaitl and a Vander Kane. What are your thoughts on this one? Is Calgary dead in the water? Because I think if they lose it tonight, there's no coming back in this series.
Yeah, well, statistically, when you go down 3-1 in playoffs, I think there is a small chance you come back and win it. Rangers did it against Pittsburgh, which was phenomenal good, but you don't see that happening often in playoffs. And overall, about this series, I can tell you one thing. Well, Flames, they've all season they were good at Corsi levels. They didn't allow much shots on goal. They cycled the puck great in your offensive zone, and that's where Flames can score. Flames score in your offense zone. But what's the difference with Edmonton? Edmonton can score you when they are in defense zone. And as strange as it sounds, that means that they are so good on this transition that if Flames a little bit cycle the puck too much and get caught on against the Edmonton transition, they are on the heels. And then we see what happened the last time in last game. I mean, all goals came really actually from transition and bad plays from Edmonton, from Flames. They really could place few of those situations much better to avoid those 2-on-1s and what else happened there. So if Calgary tries to go here speed against speed, they will get burned here. Yeah. What Calgary needs to do, they need to slow the game down. How Dallas Stars tried to do that. I mean, they slow it down against Stars, but I mean, Stars was the reason why they slow it down because Stars just play boring. And now the Flames have to do the same. They have to play low-scoring games to win it with Oilers. It will not happen like they happened in the first game. It was 9-6 or something like that. It will not happen like that. Oilers will outscore them, I think, because Oilers I mean, McDavid and Draisaitl, they're hot, and when these guys are hot, when these guys are going, you will not outscore those guys. So what Flames need to do, they need to play Daryl Sutter hockey, which we have not seen actually in these series against Oilers. They really cannot slow it down. And I mean, Markstrom as well. It's never like in the end of the day, goalies maybe like mistakes or what. Well, but anyways, you have to save something. Those goals were hard. I mean, when you get a pass and Kane takes it on that, like against you, those goals were hard to save. I mean, but anyways, that's why you are there. That's why you're a playoff goaltender. You have to help your team, get that crucial save like we have seen Bobrovsky does against Tampa last day. And they still lost, Panthers, but Bobrovsky made some phenomenal saves. So that's what needs Markstrom to do. He just have to step up a little bit the game. I mean, 4.7, I think, is the goal of average for him in this series. So that will definitely not work out.
So Edmonton's always a thorn for Markstrom. Edmonton plays him hard.
That's true. Well, and what I can see, again, from the Edmonton, if you look a little bit how they play how Woodcroft plays their lineup, he really puts heavy minutes on top six. Like Zach Hyman had the most minutes last game, following up like Nugent Hopkins actually, and then coming McDavid and Draisaitl, but only because it was 4-0 after the second period, and then he just let the Draisaitl and McDavid rest a little bit more. But anyways, he's playing heavy minutes on those top six forwards, and the third and fourth line actually just have to be decent. They don't need to do a lot of production. If you have McDavid in the first top line with Draisaitl, then you have Nugent Hopkins in the second with Zach Hyman. If Calgary Flames are not able to shut down those two lines, Oilers again will dominate this game. So in this game, a little bit for me, it's harder to come up with decision, but it's still leaning, and I think if I have bet already Carolina, then I have not bet this game yet. But my lean it still would be the Flames because, well, it. I think they should come out here try to play their hockey, team
Yeah.
structure, team defense, and team offense. That's how they can beat Oilers. Just playing good hockey, like how they can actually play. But
Yeah.
they're trying to get in these high scoring games. That's what also happened in the regular season. We saw Flames getting a lot of goals, and we were thinking, like, can Flames in the playoffs slow it down and play a low scoring game? And that's we have not seen yet. And also, well, yeah, Smith is playing well, but as well, he got hit by Lucic, went a little bit off the ice. Maybe that little bit changes something. I don't know. So I haven't made my decision yet. So this is a hard pick here. I would lean Calgary, but I have not placed it yet.
What are your thoughts on Mike Smith overall as a goalie? I did have a previous guest on the show thinking that he gets a hard time. Edmonton fans give him a hard time, but at the end of the day, he is a strong goalie. We've seen him go in and out of games where he's played incredible and then fell on his face in the next game. Do you have faith in Mike Smith that going forward in the series, if Edmonton moves on, that we can continue to see strong performances out of him?
I think I will be just really straight here and pretty short. Mike, anyone who have played for Team Canada in Olympic Games, I consider him as Hall of Fame, and Mike Smith has been there. So Mike Smith has played a lot for Team Canada, and I consider him as a Hall of Fame goalie. Even if he had some tough times, he looks sometimes way too deep in the net, but I mean, he gets it hot at the right time. I think he's Hall of Fame. He has played for Team Canada, and I think, yeah, that he's playing well and he will play good.
Okay, Vito, thank you so much for joining me on the Joe Madden Sports podcast today. Before you leave, can you remind everyone where to find you and where to follow you on socials and any shows that you have going on?
Yeah, well, go ahead and follow me at Vito in Twitter at Vito Picks. I release picks like daily. Now in playoffs, I will be a little bit more careful. I play more picks in regular season. Playoffs, from my player experience, is very tough. It's more like guessing sometimes. And yeah, so follow me on Twitter at Vito Picks. And yeah, on weekends I usually go on the Ice Guys show, which is also a pretty big NHL show. So you also can see me there.
Okay, Vito, thank you so much. All the best in the playoffs here. I hope all your picks go perfectly. Have a great day, and thank you. We'll have to have you on back again.
Thanks for